Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment of our show is brought to you by Madisonville Marine. And boy, they have all kinds of deals going on right now. If you're interested in a G3 boat, our own Bob Hodge went and got a G3 boat down there. You can get it $1,500 off select models. That's a great factory rebate. On another rebate, if you're interested in Skeeter boats, that's the first company to ever build a bass boat, so they are masters of it. $3,000 rebates available depending on the model of Skeeter boat. They've got deals for Yamaha motors. They've got deals for new boats, used boats, you name it. Madisonville Marine. There's a reason we've been telling you for a decade now, there is no better place to buy a boat. It's because it's true. Madisonville Marine. All right. Want to show folks the 2014-2015 Tennessee roster. There you see it. Anybody that's kind of in that gold color is a newcomer. That is a lot of turnover for a basketball roster. Donnie Tyndall had to get guys from small colleges, junior colleges, bus stations, anywhere he could find people and pick up games. Over his career, and we talked about this when he was hired, Tyndall's average tempo, that's possessions per game, was about the same as Conzo Martin. So it's not, they do that three-quarter press, but it's not 100-mile-an-hour up tempo. However, when you look at that roster, it's looking more and more like you're going to have to do a lot of point generating out of a press. So you're going to play more up-tempo speed this year than he has in the past?
I think he's going to have to, just because of the size and because of the people he has coming in. And if you look at it, even the new players, even the returning players will have to be considered new players because they're learning an entire new system. We've got Josh Richardson as the point guard now. Armani Moore moved to the power forward, swinging from both forward positions. But they are going to have to be an up-tempo team, as we've seen in our two exhibition games. Half-court offense is not going to be this team's strength.
Mark? Yeah, they're going to have to find ways to get easy baskets, and that's what the press is going to get. To be able to speed up the opponent and then get to that basket, because if we continue to struggle from shooting from the perimeter, right now we're 9 for 31 from 3 in the first two preseason games, it's going to be hard for them to score in half court because they don't have that guy who can just take somebody off the dribble and create an easy shot for somebody.
Isaiah, you went from one style of play to a completely different other style of play. You came in under Kevin O'Neal, but then you were a Jerry Green player. That O'Neal style was the slow that thing down as slow as you can get. Jerry Green basically rolled the ball out there and said, go get them. In terms of switching from A to B, and that's what you're doing in terms of going from the Big Ten style of Conzo Martin to now an up-tempo style of Donnie Tyndall. As a player, how much of an adjustment time does that take? Does that take 10 games, 20 games? How long does that take?
It just depends on the player. I was always an up-tempo style of player. That's the style I like the best. So it's kind of like it was a little different when I went from O'Neal to Coach Green, because now we're running and flying around. Like, that's what I wanted to do anyway. So some players are going to benefit from that. Some players won't. I saw the game yesterday. The three-quarter court press they're doing, they look like they just want to slow the other team down, and then they go into the zone, and they're trapping that in the corners. But it doesn't look like they want to speed the game up. They probably will have to, though, just because of their size. And they do have versatile players. I saw number 55 get a steal and take it full court, lay it in with the left hand. He's a big fellow. So I think they got the roster to do it.
Mike Strange, Tennessee did win their exhibition game last night against Lenore Ryan, 77-49. Your thoughts on the style of play that Donnie Tyndall's going to have to employ here, as discussed, doesn't look real good in the half court. How reliant are they going to be on trying to turn people over and generate turnovers?
A lot, I think. This is not a team of future lottery picks. This is not a team of grizzled veterans. But they are a team. I think this is an athletic, long, rangy team that is probably suited pretty well for what he wants to do with that. So that I think they're going to have to do it a lot.
I actually think the roster fits what he wants to do defensively, because he has that length, he has that athleticism, and as this team and these players learn to understand the rotations and where they're supposed to be, defensively is where they're going to have to hold their hat on, even in the half court, not only just in the pressure.
Let's take a look. There's also a downside to some of the turnover you've gone through. Tennessee had players / commitments left in the offseason for Florida Atlantic, Florida State, UNLV. You had a transfer to Virginia, Xavier. Those are all pretty decent programs. SEC predictions, the media at Media Days had Tennessee 13th. You might notice that Auburn is picked at 8th. I'm sure a lot of people have noticed that. The 13th for Tennessee. Is that realistic? Is that do you set the bar right there for Vol fans? Because a lot of people were excited. Anytime you have a change, the excitement is there. And a lot of people were looking at the guys he was bringing in saying, yeah, look at all these hot shot, high-flying stars. You get a little closer to it, the roster may not be as good as people had imagined at the time. Is 13th a fair prediction, or is that too low or too high?
I think it's realistic.
Okay.
I don't think they'll end up there. I think they'll end up around the 10, 9, 10 range. First of all, as a coach, I hate preseason predictions. They
Right.
absolutely are weightless and mean nothing to me as a coach. But I think that's where you'll find them in the midst there, because I think there's some more bums that they'll be able to beat, especially at home. They'll be able to go on the road and steal a few because of the way they play. And I think for them, as they continue to grow, they'll continue to get better, and the way coach is going to control tempo with his press, with his zone, and where they attack offensively, they'll have a chance to stay in every basketball game.
Yeah, and outside the top 4 in the SEC, again, they're not very good. And so you can really just throw them up in a hat. And if this defense that if you ask other coaches that played against Coach Tyndall in years past at Southern Miss, it took them a year or so to figure out how to attack that defense. So hopefully that can hold true this year with Tennessee.
Okay. You guys 13th fair, or is it too low?
Nah, that's too low. But I mean, it means nothing, so who cares?
Yeah, I've seen them anywhere from 10th to 13th, and everybody's right. It's just a grab bag right now. It's hard to tell.
If you ask Donnie Tyndall, he'll say they're ranked too high.
Right.
Yeah, he would rather be 14th right now instead
Sure.
of 13th going into this season.
All right, very good. When we come back, the Bruce Pearlers were out this week. As soon as that Donnie Tyndall news broke, they, as if they ever, I don't think they ever went away. They were just they were camoed. They were just waiting to jump out at you. They were back, and we'll talk about how important that January 31st game between Donnie Tyndall and Bruce Pearl is going to be when we come back. Come back on the Sports Source.